Bless up. Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
All right, 16 minutes moving away from the hour. It's now time for our conversation with the police. And the program is called Policing with You, which is a program aired every Thursday morning right here on the morning show. We're going to take a break, get a word from our sponsor, which is National Bank. And then we'll be back to start our conversation and later on open the lines so you can be a part of it.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
All right, welcome back to our program. I'm your moderator for this morning as usual, and our host, one of them, is Sergeant Richards this morning. Good morning to you, sir, and how you doing?
Yes, good morning, GQ. It's always a pleasure to be here. Good morning to our listeners, both home and abroad, and our viewers via the internet. This is another edition of Policing with You, thanks to the good people down there at National Bank. And I am your host this morning, Sergeant Trevor Richards. Now, in studio with us this morning, we have a senior officer of police who is no stranger to the program, so I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Good morning, everyone. I am Superintendent Lyndon David. I know previously Sergeant Richards at GQ when he was here. I was the division officer for Nevis. Now I am the divisional officer for Division B, and this area comprises from the gut there at Ross to the gut there in Lodge Village.
Wow.
Traveling through Sandy Point direction.
Okay, that's side.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And in that area we have 4 stations. We have Old Road, Sandy Point, Dieppe Bay, and Tabernacle.
Okay.
So I'm now the new divisional officer there.
Okay.
And I just want the persons who are listening in Radio Land and various social media platforms to know that I will speak in that divisional area there.
Right. And if they have any concern, to know who to reach out to.
Yes,
as well.
yes, indeed.
Okay, all right.
Indeed.
Now, just for information, Superintendent David, we know that we have 3 administrative districts when it comes to policing, yes? You have Division A, which is Bastia, all the way over to Cairn and over to the Southeast Peninsula. Division B, and which you just outlined, and Division C, which is Nevis. And you've had the benefit now of working in Division C as the divisional officer.
Indeed.
And now Division B. So we're here to discuss Division B today.
Yes.
As opposed to Division C when we were here on the last occasion. Now the topic this morning is traffic soup.
Sorry, pardon me. I just did the dots, and I realized on both occasions, separately,
yes,
he has been in this hot seat to represent.
Correct.
Yes.
But notwithstanding that, the soup can take it.
I know he can.
He has broad shoulders.
I know he can.
We're here to discuss the traffic issues, more or less, in Division B this morning, Soup.
Yes.
And so my first question to you is, what have your observations been regarding traffic accidents in Division B since you've taken up the mantle as divisional officer?
Well, I will say for the general listenership and viewership is that I'm going to be limiting it to traffic matters, especially traffic accidents. And my observation thus far is that we have a lot of traffic accidents taking place. To this point, we have had, for the year, 107 traffic accidents.
Wow.
To me, that's a lot. And let me give a breakdown. The breakdown standing point, we have 45. Old Road, 39. Date Bay has 10 and Tabernacle, 13. Wow. And when I look at everything, I say this is a real concern. What I will not address this morning, however, though, is the injuries. I'm looking at the frequency of accidents and what we look at as contributing factors based on offenses pertaining to the law. And like I said, Sergeant Richards, GQ, everyone, is that the number of traffic accidents is of concern to me. And I've seen where we have had, since Old Road Bay Road has been modified, we have seen a lot of speeding on that road. We have seen some accidents where vehicles went over there. I don't know if it's easier now than before, but I know that the roadworks people, they're going to work on the upper end when they just come around the corner there from by Miss Mitchum's residence. But the other area come down, there's some stones there to prevent that. But so I believe there is one of the areas. I don't know if people, when they reach there, they just really, well, it's time for me to let go. But we are saying to people we needed to drive much more careful in that area.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a very targeted question now. What has your experience been in Division C in regard to traffic accidents, and what are the similarities now between Division C and Division B now that you're divisional officer for Division B?
Well, I will say they're very much so similar. Very much so similar. Once persons see an open road, they will let go. So to speak, local police, they will let go the throttle. They want to drive fast. Also, we've seen where motorcyclists, I don't know, they just want to pop wheelie and dolly through places and other things. In terms of parking, we have parking as well restriction. We have pedal cyclists, pedal bikes. They ride the bikes and they dolly through traffic, pop wheelie as well. We also observe they do not ride with the necessary requirements, what the law says. Horn or other warning devices, proper brakes, good tires, and keep the wheel on the road. They're supposed to keep the wheel on the road. Motorcyclists, we realize a lot of them, they will taunt, they will not wear headgear, and we also observe that there are many too. We put this camera on their helmet, and they will record themselves and doing stunts. But in my mind, I know that in Nevis they have the Mundo track. Maybe they can lobby government and see if they can find an area for them to do all those stunts, but not on the road that is populated with other vehicles and pedestrians. So we're saying that should be. So there is a very strong similarity in terms of the issues that I face in Division C and now in Division B. Well, a lot of accidents.
Well, I'm happy that you outlined some of those things, Superintendent, particularly the not wearing of the helmet, the non-compliance with wearing the helmet, and the wheeling. I don't know if the public is aware, GQ, but if you have a two-wheel vehicle, whether it be a motorcycle or a bicycle, to ride on one wheel is an offense.
Yes.
And I don't think the public is aware of that, or these cyclists are aware of that. So I'm happy the Soup mentioned that. As well as not...
Once you're on the public road.
Once you're on the public road. As well as not wearing your helmet. I mean, the helmet is for your safety. So why would you not want to wear it? And we see where, we have the frequency now of these motorcyclists getting in accidents. But, so what would you say are some of the prevalent causes of these accidents?
Well, when we look at it, we see a lot of persons driving without due care and attention. And also we see a lot of reckless driving.
That's from data collected, right?
Yes, look at that. And in order for persons to get a better understanding and appreciation in terms of reckless driving, dangerous driving, and the driving, I will just read a little bit from the Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, which is 15.06. And I will be looking at Section 48 that deals with reckless or dangerous driving. And it says, this is subsection 1, any person who drives a motor vehicle on a road recklessly or at a speed listen very carefully, recklessly or at a speed or in a manner which is dangerous to the public, having regard to all the circumstances of the case, including the nature, condition, and use of the road, and the amount of traffic which is actually at the time, or which might reasonably be expected to be on the road, shall be liable. And A, you got a summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $4,000. That's to show you how serious we have it here. Or to imprisonment with or without labor for a term not exceeding 4 months. We go down to B, and it speaks to an indictment which is at the High Court. To imprisonment with or without hard labor for a term not exceeding 2 years, or to a fine, or to both imprisonment and fine. So we will look at that, and when I look at careless driving now, which is section 49, it says here, if any person drives a motor vehicle on a road without due care and attention, or without reasonable consideration for other road users, he or she commits an offense and shall be liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $2,000, and on a second or subsequent conviction for a like offense to be disqualified for holding or obtaining a driver's license for such period as the court shall think fit.
Okay.
Causing death by dangerous driving, this in other place they call it a vehicular homicide. This falls under section 50, and subsection 1 says any person who causes the death of another person by driving a motor vehicle on the road recklessly, or at a speed, or in a manner which is dangerous to the public, having regard to all the circumstances of the case, including the nature, condition, and use of the road, and the amount of traffic which is actually at the time or which might be reasonably be expected to be on the road, shall be liable on conviction and indictment to imprisonment for 5 years. So causing death by dangerous driving, what the law is telling you, there is no fine. It's a maximum imprisonment of 5 years. But then, the judge, having listened to the circumstances, can just give a sentence in between it. But this is suggesting that it's a mandatory prison sentence.
So the judge can use his or her own discretion.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So,
Sergeant, sorry, go ahead.
So in terms of the prevailing offences, most that we'll see once no death, we'll have driving without due care and attention and careless driving. And it could be many factors. Somebody looking off the road and they're going at a speed, vehicle is in front of them, bam. The condition of the road. You see a lot of vehicles there over there where you still drive through with a speed. So permit me, just this one point I want to make here, which is very critical. I like to make it a lot. We have a lot of young people, when they're walking on the road, they butt on you. You say, excuse me, sir, you mash me, you butt on me. So what you going to do about that? They want to fight. The same attitude in the vehicles. And a lot of them are driving these big trucks. And I'm saying this is where we have the ill discipline on the road. So the way a man thinks outside of the vehicle and behave, when he or she gets in, the same attitude and behavior I am seeing. I don't know if other people seen that. So I am appealing to our young drivers, in particularly those who are in these trucks. Remember, it is a vehicle, and even if you crash on a small vehicle, you too can also be injured and seriously. And the worst can happen as well, which we do not want. So we are encouraging persons, young drivers in particular, take care of the other road users as yourselves.
Sergeant?
And GQ, one thing I find interesting that stands out in most of the sections that the superintendent read is that the law takes into consideration that you, the driver, should be paying attention to the traffic that was actually on the road, the conditions of the road, or the traffic that is reasonably expected to be on the road. So in other words, what the law is basically saying is that you should take consideration not just for the traffic that is on the road and the condition of the road and all encompassing, but the traffic that is expected to be on the road. So for instance, if you're driving in a reckless manner or a dangerous manner and it's 3:45 or 4 o'clock, you expect that to be rush hour. So the law pays specific attention to that. So I'm happy that the superintendent at least elucidated those points to make them quite clear. So and that would answer my next question. What does the law say about these offences? So So to ask Superintendent, so how has the police in Division B been trying to tackle these said offenses, traffic offenses?
Well, first and foremost, I have to start with us right here. The education process. I believe in education. And after you would have educated, well, you know, there's nobody out there ignorant of the particular law or the circumstance in which you're getting the point across. So, and then now, when it comes to Old Road Bay, we have officers frequently in terms of dealing with the speed checks. You know, I could remember some day ago I went in the district, in the division to drive in a marked vehicle, and I parked up along the side of the road just to monitor the traffic and to show that all the drivers are aware that they were doing wrong. Once the driver sees the vehicle, they slow down. When they pass, you know, they're gone again. So, so these are the things we're doing, and we're going to be robustly dealing with the traffic issues there, because apart from robbery and breaking, these traffic accidents do cause lives, and they have the potential to cause a lot of persons to die or seriously injured at the same time, depending on the occupants and the type of vehicle we're dealing with.
Indeed.
So we also going to be looking at get tips to drive safely on the road. That's one of the things I'm going to be looking at. And we're going to have them print off, stop drivers and give. Motor omnibuses as well. We're going to ensure that they do not overload. We're going to speak to them about the load of noise in the vehicle. You know what I mean? Because we have that an issue there. So even if the fire truck or the ambulance come in, they may not hear. You know? So we have to speak to them about that. And we also have to let the bus drivers understand as well. Hey, the bus is very fast, it's like a race car, but hey, it's a passenger bus. And you must look at it as like an aeroplane with passengers. The same key those pilots have to have, you have to have. So we want them to understand. So we will, in Division B, the bus drivers on that area, that's one of the things I want to try to speak to them and educate them. Look, that's why you have an insurance, to protect these people, but just in case of an eventuality. But you cannot be reckless and dangerous with it. Otherwise, you will have a problem there. So we want to do the education process, and we're going to be out physically. Day and night we're going to be doing this. And we already started, but we're just going to intensify. And the education drive, give a piece of paper here and there with some tips. That's one of the things we're going to be doing.
Gentlemen, with your permission, can we take a break?
Yes, please. You have bills to pay, GQ.
All right. So, and big thank you to National Bank for being on board for this program. When we return, I'll indicate to you when we'll open the lines. 465-2555 and 718-577-2916.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Protect yourself from the novel coronavirus. Wash your hands thoroughly and frequently for at least 20 seconds each time. Avoid shaking hands and touching your face with unclean hands. If you have to cough or sneeze, do so into your flexed elbow or a paper towel and then dispose of it. Keep a distance of 3 feet away from anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. Boost your immune system with vitamins, drink plenty of water, and get adequate rest. Visit your doctor, the nearest hospital, or health center if you or a family member becomes ill. A message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
All right, welcome back. 26 minutes moving on to the hour of 10 o'clock, pardon me. 26 minutes moving on to the hour of 10 o'clock. Sergeant Richards, over to you.
In a good mood, GQ. So, question. I know one of the major offenses is speeding. So could you explain to the listening audience and the viewing audience exactly what the speed limits are and in what particular areas?
Indeed. This one is Schedule 2 of the Traffic Act, and it says here, subsection 1, on any road within the limits of the town of Bastille in a village, maximum speed, and we deal with mileage. Motor omnibuses, passenger trucks, and motor lorries, 20 miles per hour. B, other vehicles except tractors, 20 miles per hour. Tractors with or without trailers, 20 miles per hour. Now I will say, right, tractor, when this one here look at, when you say tractors with or without trailers, a number of people will look at the agriculture tractor. But these big trucks, they'll deem them as tractors because they pull things at the back.
Okay. So they're grouped in the same category?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. On a road, on all roads in the state, other than those specified in paragraph 1, motor omnibuses, passenger trucks, motor lorries, 30 miles per hour. Other motor vehicles except tractors, 40 miles per hour. Tractors with or without trailers, 20 miles per hour. So you realize for the tractors, they should remain at 20 miles. And sometimes, boy, when you see some of these truck with these things behind you, you want to know what is going on. And the thing is that they're more experienced than me, I guess. But once you have that load and you're going down a hill, braking is a difficulty with that trailer. The trailer is going to help push the tractor down the hill.
Because of the weight issue.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
So that's why I want to specifically read the speed limits so that people could understand, hey, but like I said earlier, once we have young persons driving these trucks, and the motor lorries, you know, we want persons to understand, once they have load inside there, you have a challenge in stopping. The passenger buses, once the bus is full, load is inside there, you have a difficulty in stopping as you would like to stop quicker. So we want to encourage persons. Adhere to the speed limits that the law has provided. And I will repeat them later on if time permits, but I do hope that person would capture the speed limits. And plus Sergeant GQ, listening audience, is that the signs are there in the road. So we'll just encourage you, just comply with the signs.
Okay.
And things will be much better.
I have a question for you, Superintendent David, as it relates to the camera or the recording on the helmet. And you're saying that's an offense, or is offense to record stunts?
Okay. Having the camera on the helmet is not an offense. Recording the stunt, like I said, you can go on an empty piece of land. But on the road, popping the wheel, that's an offense. Exceeding the speed limit, that's an offense. Jumping over a car, if they jump over a car, that's a dangerous act. So, you know, we are saying to you, you may jump over the car, but you're on the road, another vehicle coming. So we are saying, do not use these stunts on the road. Do like what was done in Nevis. They have the Jag racetrack over there. See if you can get a piece of land. See if an insurance company or government will permit it. But other than that, the road is an extremely dangerous place to do that. You know, they watch the movie with the fellow Walker. You know, they watch all this thing drifting, you know, and all this other stuff. Well, they should understand now they're big people. In reality, try that on a road in America. Try that on a road in Britain. You will see what the consequences. So I'm saying to people, our roads are not as big as those roads where you have a little bit more room to maneuver. So be guided. Respect the rights of other persons using the roads, whether they're motorists or civilians walking.
All right. The lines are now open, and we are going to take our first call for this morning. Gentlemen, can I ask you all to put on your headphones? You have your volume control there, so you can, you know, regulate your own volume. Hey, good morning. You're live.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yes. Lyndon David.
Hi, good morning.
Well, no disrespect. But I like the fellow there who the junior officer too. I like him. Sound interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a boost for police. I don't often like to hear the way police conduct the discussion. But he sound good. He has a lot of potential. Hope he keep it up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. David.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned a little earlier that now you come in District B,
Yes, yes.
you're gonna educate. You're gonna educate the motoring public.
Yes, indeed.
And okay, I am always for education and information, but you left have something, you know.
Okay.
You are got to enforce the law. That's a problem. That has been the biggest problem with police and these troublemakers and lab workers and so forth.
Right.
That's the problem. Now, an old road there. I went in a bus there just yesterday. And I really want to say I don't want to drive in no more buses. The road ain't even finished. It's wide. And they're using that to their advantage. Zigzagging. I know they do that on these highways in the United States, but the traffic only going one way. And you got a lot of roads, so you can switch from lane to lane.
Right.
Once you know it's clear, all the way get piled up too.
Right, right.
I've seen all of that. But anyway, I believe that police is dragging the feet in not enforcing. But
Okay.
I'm going to round off by telling you, I'm calling from Challengers.
Okay.
Now, the road was resurfaced nicely in Challengers under the road surfacing program, or whatever we call it. Now, Challengers is a small village, the road is narrow, and people drive very fast through there.
Yes.
Now, one of the reasons I believe is because the traffic department went and put a yellow line on the whole length of the village and the seaside.
Okay.
So when people going from both directions, they try to fly through to get away from because the road is narrow for the whole length of the village. So only you park on one side.
Right.
I believe there's an area. I've been asking for it. I suggested that I've been viewing the traffic. I am not, well, I got a lot of time. So I'll be looking. I suggested to them more on many occasions that they could come there, we could talk with them and show them that there's an area that you could eliminate the yellow line. And this would cut down the speed that they travel to the village.
Right.
In addition, I think we need some crosswalk about at least 3 of them in the village. That again could help.
Okay.
Because considering that many people, most of the people live on the mountain side
Right.
of the village. But if you're traveling in a westerly position, you have to go on the crossover to go on the seaside. And if you come from Bastille, anyway east of the village, you got to jump out on the seaside.
Right.
So you got to cross over to go on the mountain side.
Indeed.
Even school children, when they're coming from the Blanty Welch area, they got to cross over. Now the school bus, I don't know if it's legal or illegal, but it has blocked the road, which is good. In my mind, it's good.
Right.
And allow the children to go across. I'm a humanitarian, so I like all of that. And lastly, I want you all to stop tell us you're going to do and you don't do. There is a tree. Let me tell you why you're there, because you're in charge. Don't stay away from the communities. I want you to be a chief cook and bottle washer.
Okay.
But the mahogany tree by the community center,
That's
there is a branch one cutting up. And I believe you all should work, could work with public work and tourism, because it's a landmark. And right there by the community center, they want to pull off, where when people putting off and picking up children and their parents and so, they could pull off the road and keep the traffic flowing. There's a lot of things I got to say, but I can't continue because I don't want to take up too much of your program. So, if you sound good starting off. I don't know when you came back here.
Huh?
When you came back, I know you want music.
I'll let him respond. But thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. And thank you for being considerate, because I was indeed wondering if you were not going to let someone else get a due. But I see that you are very passionate about your concerns, and I'll let
Indeed.
Superintendent respond to you if you want to do so now.
Yes, well, what I will do, in terms of more information that he has, he can contact me. My number is 662-0302. Or you can just contact the Old Road Police Station, and they will can give you my contacts, and we can talk further. The tree, I was wondering if it is Bloody Point to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll look at that.
All right, so let's go to the phone line, and I'll let you repeat the number again for him, just in case he missed it at the end of the program. Good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Hey, you're doing okay.
Wonderful. This is Larry Vaughn. I'm calling in on behalf of St. Christopher Cycling Academy.
Yes, go ahead.
And one of the issues we always talk about in terms of traffic safety is the mere fact that, I find that, yes, they have a lot of cyclists out there who don't conform, but we are a group that are covered by the international law. And as a result, because of that, we try to conform to everything, down the line.
Right.
One of the problems that we have is that when vehicles are passing us on the road, they are not using the regular protocol, which is 1 meter or 3 feet passing distance when you're passing a cyclist.
Right.
And I can tell even from my experience, I was hit 4 years ago where I got my arm crushed, and I have right now actually 7 bolts in my hand and a plate from an accident for a lady who was driving without due care and attention, and she was on a mobile phone. So my main question would be, what is it there for traffic that are going to put us as cyclists looking out for our best interest? Because, this is a serious issue. What if one of these days one of our guys training and, somebody kill us? We can't wait until that point in time to have something done.
Okay.
All right, thank you for your... Mr. Vaughn?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your call.
No problem.
What I would say to you, Mr. Vaughn, thank you for that, and I must say we are disheartened to hear about your unfortunate situation. However, what I would say to you and your group, sometime you can visit the police, get some tips how to use the road better. And we using this program as well, and I know sometimes traffic will be on the air as well, speaking to traffic issues. But we will have our presence on the road, and there are times we will not be there. But it's for the motoring public. So motorists, we're saying to you, remember the rules governing the road. Whenever you see persons using the road, whether pedestrians or cyclists, persons, a truck, tractor, lawnmower moving from one point to another, use a safe distance for braking, and whenever you're overtaken, use a reasonable space between you. Mr. Vaughn mentioned about 3 feet, but if you can be wider and you still remain on the road, use that in case of any eventuality that there will be no collision that cause injury or damage to vehicles. So thank you for that, Mr. Vaughn, and like I said, I'm there. You can come in and we can talk some more, or if you so wish, you have Sergeant Phipps at the traffic department with whom you can have a good, as you are, Inspector Phipps. Inspector Phipps, with whom you can have a very good and healthy conversation. As a matter of fact, any member of the police hierarchy, and Sergeant Richards here himself, communicate with us and we will see how best we can assist you according to the law.
All right, let's go to the phone line. Let's try line 1 this time. Good morning. You live.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm just calling about the mirror on Sandon Road. Like when you turn up on Sandon Road from the best one to come straight up,
Okay.
the mirror they have been mashed up for a while. You cannot see what coming from left, no right. So I'll appreciate if somebody check it out.
All right.
Thank you very much, caller. This is something that I like to say that our community have to be more responsible. It was there for safety, and when you look at it, it appears that someone intentionally destroyed the mirror.
Not only there,
Other places,
other locations.
And my understanding, I'm not certain, but my understanding, those type of mirrors, they're very expensive.
Yes, they are.
So if you put up one this month, last month, and it damaged this month, you see the problem? It may take some time before we can get another one there. So I will...
But weren't they donated? I believe the last that were donated, correct?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
So imagine a business will spend a few dollars and then somebody destroy it in no time. So our community, so parents, I'm saying to you, let us speak to our children and let us speak to ourselves, because sometimes we adults as well, to look at things that are important for you and the other members of society and take care of them.
Because it brings extra pressure on you, because now, one entity might say, well, look, I've heard of this business donated some mirrors, and look what happened.
Exactly.
So why should
Why
I
should I
now
now-
go and invest my money now to donate these mirrors, which won't last again? You know, it's like a waste of my money. You see where I'm coming from? And it's very hard for a business or anyone in particular to just, you know, make a contribution and then just have it, you know, gone in the wind. Let's take another call. Line 3, you are live. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. So just good morning to the police officers on the radio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You are speaking of the traffic on the road. I'm going to speak of vehicles parking on the sidewalk. Outside of the time, they are allowed to park on the sidewalk. I'm referring to Chinese supermarket opposite the Seventh-day Church. Here is the children, primary school children. The eldest one I'm carrying his 2 younger brothers to school, and it's like they got to walk in the street in order to pass. While vehicles park on the sidewalk, they have a appointed time to deliver stuff to the supermarket. I'm referring to the Chinese supermarket buses themselves. Up to this morning, when the Chinese man want to show me fight, because I protecting the young citizens of this country. 8 o'clock, park on the sidewalk. Now tell me, I'm talking about a primary school, you know. Say the under 12. 3 of them, 3 children. It's like the youngest one here be hard to control. Why should that walk in the public road? And at that point in time, look at how the traffic is. It can't be right. They have from 9 o'clock to 11:30 to do that. And then from 1:30 to 3:30 to do that. Why then 8 o'clock? Why 8 o'clock? And because they defend children, a Chinese man want to come come and fight. But he lucky, real lucky. Goodbye.
Well, I'm glad you exercise restraint. You know, that's something that we need to do more. Violence is not the only solution to our problems. A long time ago, I learned there are more than one way to skin a cat, and I know that voice. So I'm happy that you exercise your restraint, my good friend. Superintendent.
Yes, sir. We're glad you mentioned that. Like I said, I will have to speak with traffic head, which is Inspector Phipps, because I'm in Division B, so that is out of my
control.
realm. But being a senior police officer, we can still dialogue, and it well noted. So I take this opportunity as well to encourage all persons who are using their vehicles and want to go someplace. The sidewalk is for pedestrians and not vehicles. You can be ticketed, your vehicle can be towed, and once your vehicle is towed, the vehicle will not be coming out of the pound unless you pay the towing fee and any other fees that you have to pay to get the vehicle out. So let us discipline ourselves and make things easier for each and every one of us.
All right, let's go back to the line. This is on the overseas end. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Once again.
Yes.
I could remember there was an issue about something with the traffic already. And I had an input into that. But I'm going to reiterate. You see the problem with a citizen seeing a violation, right? Why don't Parliament give some power to the citizen of the Federation? If they see something, say something, rather than to say something and let it pass. Let the law enforcement follow up on that. So let's say I see something and it's a valid claim against that person. Just like the officer will press charges, let the citizen press charge against that person because they are stating a claim. Okay? So let that individual go against, like the guy on the Chinese. Give the guy the right, where the prosecutors then be on his side to go against the perpetrator, the offender, and have a day in court because police cannot be everywhere to solve an issue. Okay? But the citizens see things, so crime go unattended. Give the citizen a chance to press charges against another person who is violating the law. And if they are found guilty, they suffer the consequences under the law. Because, like I said again, police cannot be everywhere. Police cannot see everything. You've got to get report. And there is a saying, if you see something, say something. But is that say something meaningful or it's just
go through one ear and go through another and come out the other end. Give the power to the people, some of the power to the people, to make that claim. Because I believe that guy have a claim, okay, to go against the Chinese. And then thank that he held his discipline not to physically intervene. So all like that claim should be a charge against that person. Thank you. That's my input on that. And I hope when someone making a fundamental claim, argument, oral argument, it has been taken into consideration than to be ignored. Thank you for having me. I would like the officer to address that.
So, do you want to give it a try before I go?
No, I'll let
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much, Carla, and we're so glad that we have citizens from the United States or other part of the world calling. If you're not a citizen but you're just interested in what we're saying in our program, we so welcome you. In terms of persons given that authority and start the process, well, we will have to look and see how Parliament sees it. But what we're encouraging persons, you have that fundamental right still to report anything that you see that is not right, according to the law, to the police, who will initiate that investigation and use you as a witness in the case. What we do find sometimes, though, that make it difficult for us as a police force to prosecute is that you will have persons who will give information but not willing to go to the extra mile for prosecution.
Yeah, I don't want to be a snitch, you know. That's the culture.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, look, officer, I tell you what to do. Just do it now, man.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't
call
include
me.
me.
Don't. We want the man to use me for. I gotta go back there to shop again, you know. And that's our culture. That's our
Exactly.
culture, and that's the sad part of it.
Yes.
You know, and you're not the first officer to express that. Many officers in the hierarchy have expressed that so many times.
Yes.
Let's go back to the phone line. Line 1, you are live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I intend to raise this issue various fora because I think it has been raised before, but it was not pursued to its ultimate conclusion. Now, it is clear that we have a serious problem with traffic matters. I know that the superintendent is not necessarily in charge of traffic, but he being a seasoned, sensible, serious, and now senior police officer, what do you think, sir, with respect to disentangling, detaching, removing the traffic department from the police force, the way it has been done, and I would say somewhat successfully with immigration and fire and so on? Because the traffic in St. Kitts is becoming so metropolitan, quote unquote, so complex, that I think that it is exacting too much of the police resources for them to do a good job. And clearly, in my view, the police is not doing a good job with respect to traffic. And so we see a multitude of violations on a regular basis. What do you think about that idea, that we move to segregate the traffic department from the police force in order that we have a force dedicated exclusively to traffic rules and regulations and enforcement? And I believe that that would go some way in helping to alleviate the growing problem of traffic matters in St. Kitts. Thank you.
Thank you for your call and your question. But I would jump in here with all due respect to the caller and to you both. We are almost out of time, and that's sounds like a whole nother discussion.
Indeed.
And another topic for us to express or dive into, I should say. What I would like to end our conversation with, though, is you made mention of the statistics as it relates to District B and as it relates to accidents in that area. And who's in charge of District C now that you're no longer there?
Superintendent Sutton.
Superintendent Sutton.
Yes.
Okay.
Superintendent James Sutton.
Okay.
So I know that he's doing a good job. The person that I know he will continue to work on what I have there and build his own managerial skill and strategies around that, so that we can have the continuum. I believe in continuation, so I know that will happen. And say, for instance, he may leave anytime again, that person who go there has something to work on. That starts from scratch, but just continue.
Right, okay. Yes. And as it relates to the statistics, I know you gave it earlier for District B. Can you do so one more time for us?
Yes, for Division B, we have 107 traffic accidents. And in terms of the breakdown at the station level, we will have Sandy Point 45, Old Road 39, Date Bay 10, and Tabernacle 13. A very busy period in terms of traffic accidents, and I hope that having been here in the program, that we can see a reduction. Persons really say, well, super at a point there, the police really need not to work so much on our own reckless and careless behavior. And don't just look at for ourselves, everything they want to be for themselves. But then we look at the other man now using the road, and so that's what we're encouraging.
You made mention of a plan that you have in place that you have already started. Can you highlight that again?
Yes, we will be on the road in Old Road. We are already there. We have issued several tickets there for varying traffic offences. We're using the radar gun to check your speed, and also we're looking at tint as well. And we're not only going to use Old Road, but we have other areas in the division where we're going to be dealing with speeding as well and other offences that we know can relate to accidents. One of the things also too is the education drive, and that is what we're going to continue to do. This is just the start of the education drive, and under the traffic department we continue to do so. But we in Division B, we try to see if we can get either a little leaflet or a pamphlet, something, so we can just give to drivers to remind, hey, you're needed back home, other people as well.
And finally, as it relates to the housekeeping issue, a caller called from Challengers. You gave his number so he can reach out to you. Can you do it one more time?
Yes, my number is 662-0302. Again, 662-0302. Superintendent Lyndon David.
Sergeant Richards?
Well, I just want to thank the Superintendent David for coming here and speaking about traffic. I know that we have a traffic department competently and ably led by Inspector Carleen Phipps. And I don't know if you realize, GQ, but in recent times they have been making some waves. And hopefully in the not too distant future, I hope to at least have the inspector on the radio program to outline some of what the traffic department would have done and what they intend to do in the future. However, Superintendent David, being the division officer for Divisional B, has complete superintendents over traffic matters as well as criminal matters in Division B. So I want to thank you, Superintendent David, for coming and having a conversation with us. The reality, GQ, is that traffic affects us all. We all use the road. And something I want to outline to the public, traffic includes pedestrians and animals. I don't think we understand that. I think the public is of the view that traffic only includes vehicles, and that is that.
Yeah, I pay tax on the road.
Traffic includes animals and pedestrians.
Indeed.
And if you realize the way the law is worded, that you, the driver, must pay attention to all conditions on the road, even the intended amount of traffic on the road, which includes the number of pedestrians, animals, or otherwise. So, traffic affects us all, and we really have to pay attention to our own safety first, as well as be considerate to other road users. Now, there was a caller who indicated that the police isn't doing a good job when it comes to traffic offences.
His opinion.
That was his opinion. What I would respond to that, GQ, is that the police are doing their best. As one caller indicated, the police can't be everywhere. So, and I don't know if you realize, GQ, whenever the police have a VCP, a vehicle checkpoint in one area, persons who have already passed through the checkpoint indicating to other road users, the police down there, which is good. You have that exchange by the community level. But I'm saying, what I'm saying, we have to take our safety into consideration as well as give consideration to other road users. And again, Superintendent David, I want to thank you for coming. Traffic is a conversation that we can spend hours having a conversation about.
I know.
This at GQ, this has been another edition of Policing with you, with me, your host, Sergeant Richards. Thanks to the good people down here at National Bank for sponsoring the program faithfully. As always, do tune in next week for another edition.
We all are but one nation, oh. Let us unite as one. Let us unite as one.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands.